Welcome everybody to Green Talks with Darren. I think we've landed on that as the official title. At least that's what I keep calling it, and no one's made any scuttle about it. So we'll roll with that. I'm Ryan Thalgmartin. That's Darren Crouch, and we're excited to be with you again. How are you, Darren?
I'm great. Yeah, it couldn't be better. It's nice to be hopefully emerging from a difficult COVID year, and yeah, we're super optimistic and very busy. So all good.
That is all good. Absolutely. Well, we've got an interesting topic today. We've talked a lot about green products, green in general, your green products. But what we haven't really hit on is what actually makes passages green. And I think it's a really interesting topic because like there's a lot of things that you're doing not only to bring green products, but be a green company. And there's a difference in when you compare those two things together. And I think that makes you vastly unique also in this profession. So I want to start with this. What makes Passages products, first of all, green?
Right. I think there's several things. If we can generalize about the products themselves, I mean, the materials they're made from. Typically the materials are sustainable. Um, and the process used to make the products is environmentally friendly. And we want to look at products from both ends. How is it made, and what's the impact of producing it, and then how is it used, and what's the impact of using it. And so, our goal is twofold. Number one is we want something that biodegrades in the environment when it's used, whether that's a biodegradable urn or a casket. But we also want to make sure we leave as light a footprint
Mm,
in the whole supply chain and manufacturing process. And so, the materials the product is made from is a big component of that. We have a lot of bamboo products. Um, we have a lot of products that are made from recycled materials. Like we have a product that's made from the off cuttings. We get the paper from a paper company that makes paper cups and paper plates. And so it's a non-toxic food grade paper. We take that paper and turn it into an urn, which ultimately
wow.
will biodegrade in the ocean. Um, how they're shipped. So, shipping is a big issue, and a lot of our products are made overseas. And we're very conscious that, shipping overseas has an environmental impact. And so
Mhm.
what we do to mitigate that impact is, we have a lot of products that we ship to us flat packed, and that includes urns and caskets, and we assemble them and or finish them here. So that really reduces the carbon footprint. The other thing we do is we do a lot of nesting. So, we do a lot of business in the pet market, and the volumes, as you know, for pets are far
Mhm.
exceed humans.
Yeah.
And so we also nest urns. The urns themselves come like Russian doll nested. Um, but we also nest urns inside caskets and smaller caskets inside caskets. So we may get an adult casket, so that's 6'5" long, with a 5'9" unit inside it, two baby units inside it, a dozen shrouds, and a couple of urns. And so when you actually
Wow.
calculate the carbon footprint, it's relatively minor. It's probably less than going from Batesville, Indiana to Seattle, Washington in a semi truck. So, we're conscious of it and we're aware of it, and we're very transparent with, stuff's going to have an environmental impact, and we're working really hard to minimize that. So, and across our spectrum of products, there is a range. I mean, we have some products that are greener than others, and we want to be
Mhm.
transparent about that. So, a couple other things, Green Barrel Council certification is a big thing for us. Fair trade is big for us. Packaging, we use recycled packaging. We use styrofoam peanuts. We ship carbon neutral with UPS, and so they purchase offsets. And so, there's a lot of variables that we look at, and we try to be as diligent as we can on both sides of that equation, consumption and production.
I love it. I love it. And so we'll touch on the GBC certification here in a second, but I mean, I think from a consumer perspective too, where we have a more heightened awareness of how products shipped and the packaging. Just, I mean, at scale, probably one of the biggest conversations we've seen about this was the last iPhone, where iPhone shrunk the size of their package by 50%, and then the offset of that was insane on how less bad for the environment that shipping was, and the packaging, and how much less tons of like, it's just astounding, just that
Yeah,
little
no,
change.
it's huge. It's like, and the irony is it doesn't impact us. We think about,
Mhm.
if we're gonna go green, do we want to really sacrifice in a certain area? And something like that is no sacrifice, right? I mean, if they reduce the packaging down, doesn't hurt us when we buy an iPhone. And we do a similar thing where with our funeral home customers, we really encourage them to buy more than one. Because if I have to send an urn today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
that's a lot of shipping. Whereas if we send them a case of six, that's one shipping. So
yeah.
it can really make a big difference. And if we really think about what we're doing, there's pretty easy ways to go green that can make a huge impact.
Yeah, all the way around with any supplier really too. There's simple tweaks that can be made to, reduce the footprint. So love that. All right, so that was kind of a product question, but I want to get to the meat and potatoes. What makes Passages a green company and not just a maker of green products?
Well, I mean, we want to walk the walk, and not just talk the talk, really. And so, we are, for one of the big things we did this year is we did away from our printed catalog. So we do print a catalog, but it's on request. So in the
Mm,
past, we would print 40 or 50,000 catalogs and we mail them to funeral homes. Today, we're encouraging funeral homes to use our digital catalog, which families can flip through or funeral directors can flip through on their own devices and they can share it. We're in a digital age. Why do we need a printed catalog?
yeah.
We've also upgraded our website as well, which is much easier to use than in the past. We encourage basic things in our business like turning off light switches, turning off your computer and printers at the end of the day. We even rebuild our own pallets. When we ship our
Mm,
caskets, there's no standard pallet for caskets. And so we take old pallets that we have here, we take them apart and we reconstruct them casket length. And so we're basically reusing pallet material to make our casket
wow.
pallets. We make donations to conservation organizations. So like with our shell biodegradable urn, the one that I mentioned that was made from recycled paper, we actually make a donation for every one that we sell to the Ocean Conservancy, so they can put those funds towards preventing environmental damage in the oceans. Our caskets, we provide a certificate where a family can redeem for a tree, and we'll send them a live
Mm,
sapling tree. um, we try to reduce plastic as much as we can, and the use of plastic. And so, in every part of our business, we want to do, low flow toilets, all of those types of things. And I'm hoping in the not too distant future, we can actually put solar panels on our building as well, so that, we're powering our own facility with renewable resources as well.
it's pretty awesome. I think the main thing is that anything that's of value and of importance, it takes intentionality. So to I mean, there's a lot of intention that goes into the processes that you have in place to be as efficient as possible and as green as possible. So love that. I love that you're not just a product maker of, green product maker, that it runs deep through the heart of the brand and who you are authentically. So that's pretty impressive. All right. So when we're talking about shipping and trade and things of that nature, what does fair trade mean in this sequence?
So fair trade, I think it has an environmental connotation, but it also has a social justice connotation. And so, there's basically 10 main principles of fair trade, and actually only a few of them are around the environmental and sustainability issues. A lot of them about the social justice. So, for example, making sure that we're paying our staff overseas a commensurate fair wage for that region, making sure that we are paying suppliers um, a fair wage, making sure that we're employing equal numbers of men and women, making sure that we're not making them work 16, 18 hours a day. We're not employing
Hmm.
children. And then, some of the factories that we work with, they're actually, they have a social justice manager where they're literally helping people in their daily lives. I mean, sometimes people can't read, write, they can't tell the time. And so, they can sometimes get taken advantage of by lenders, and they can have domestic issues at home. And so this is more than an HR person. This is someone that can actually provide skills that you can use in your personal life as well as at the business. I mean, obviously it benefits the business, the more people that can read and write and have skills, but it's also meant to help them in their lives as well. I think we want to make sure that producers and staff have a voice. So it allows people to get together and raise issues, where in a lot of overseas places that's not very common. It's a bit of a rat race. So to be able to go in there and really have a mission that's more than just make product at the cheapest price. We want to have an impact beyond dollars and cents. We want to leave a community better than we found it.
Love that. Love that. It's mission driven, heart driven. So how many passage products then are certified fair trade?
We probably have close to 24. I mean, we have
Wow.
probably 12 caskets and 12 urns of different designs and styles. And we're always innovating and trying to introduce more new fair trade products.
It's pretty impressive. All right. So earlier you mentioned Green Burial Council. So what is the Green Burial Council certification, and then how many products of yours are Green Burial Council certified?
Right. So the Green Burial Council certifies products, it certifies funeral providers like funeral homes, and it certifies cemeteries. And basically, without getting into too much of the meat and potatoes, they independently verify that what you're saying is correct. So if I say that my products don't have plastic in it, or if I say my products don't have a toxic finish, then they're going to want MSDS information on that to verify that. They're going to want information. If I say my product's fair trade, I need to prove that it's fair trade. And so we probably have dozens of Green Burial Council certified product. We have by far the most Green Burial Council certified products. And for me, I think it's really important because just like with fair trade certification, it's not just Darren Crouch saying, hey, our products are green. This is independent certification. And, I think one of the differences is that, it's easy to copy a product or take a concept and try to make it cheaply somewhere else, but it's very expensive to do it the right way. So for example, if you think about harvesting a natural product, but not having pesticides on it, how do you prevent that product from being eaten up by bugs or covered in fungus when it arrives? So there's additional costs for doing that. And that's why sometimes these products are not as inexpensive as, knockoff, non-fair trade, non-certified products, because the GBC certification that we've done, it's binders full of information on different products, from where is it made, how is it made, give us MSDS on the materials, the whole 9 yards. And for me, I think it's well worth it. And so we try to get as many of our products certified as we can. And the vast majority of them get the highest 3-leaf rating of certification from the Green Burial Council.
Love that. I think there's a level of importance to that with the consumer too, that, the funeral home could be comfortable and what they're selling is actually going to meet what the consumer would expect if they're wanting product that is green, and to work with companies that are green and stand behind those certifications. And that's what they're looking for. That's important for the funeral home and your clients to have the confidence in your brand that you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing. And you don't get that everywhere.
Right. And, you in the early days of sort of the green movement, you heard about like greenwashing. That's what people were claiming one thing and not backing it up. And so we do not want to be in a situation where a funeral director gets egg on their face because a customer comes in and calls them out on something. And so, for us, it's really, really important to do everything we can and just be as transparent as we can, because like I said, there are shades of green in products as well.
Love it. Love it. Well, Darren, thank you so much for having this conversation and being super transparent. I think that's vastly, vastly important. And it's a road we haven't gone down before on really, what makes Passages a green company and not just a maker of green products. And I think that's super, super valuable in this conversation. The profession really needs to know. So thank you so much for hanging out with me again and talking all things green.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And we're right on the doorstep of Earth Day. So I think the timing is perfect. We're a few days away from it. So thank you. And
Love it.
I appreciate your willingness to have these conversations that, in the funeral industry sometimes are tough to have. It's new,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, it is new, but there's immense value in having this conversation. We need to be educated.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you.